again, we're just trying to put some context here with respect to what Alberta could do, and to realize that when those who are out there talking about tax cuts are putting forward things, we have to connect it with, well, what are you going to cut at the end of the day? And there are many, many things that we'll be highlighting. And in particular, we know that our province is growing at a pace of over 100,000 people a year, yet investments in education are not keeping pace. So here to talk about one key priority for Albertans is to reduce class sizes, particularly in the early years, is Mark Ramsankar, President of the Alberta Teachers Association.
Thank you, Bill. Funding for Alberta's core public services like education has been on a roller coaster ride for many years. Ballooning class sizes and unsupported special needs, even staff layoffs, have resulted in unstable and unpredictable funding in recent years. The 2012 budget from the province responded to the concerns for funding stability by promising and predicting increases to base funding in education that would amount to 5% over the following 3 years. However, by the time the 2014 budget has been announced, schools received only 1% of that promised 5%. Quality education for our children in Alberta is founded in a fully resourced system. It must not hinge on the price of oil and the boom and bust that we see. Sustainable funding for fully resourced education systems must come from stable sources of funding, which includes fair corporate and progressive income taxes for Albertans. We have added 41,000 new students to our schools in the last 4 years, yet only about 100 additional teaching positions have been created during that same time to meet those needs. Over 10 years ago, the government accepted recommendations to reduce class sizes in the early years and across the K-12 system. And they have yet to meet those recommendations in the K-3 level. This is a critical time in the learning lives of children in Alberta. In fact, in the last 4 years, class sizes have grown significantly across all grades, from kindergarten to grade 12. At the same time, we're in desperate need for schools in Alberta communities. Recently, new schools have been announced by the provinces. They're talking about building to the future. Unfortunately, the new schools that have been announced are coming in later days. They will not be adequate or will not address the crowding in schools today. Albertans are clear in saying that program spending for infrastructure and investment are key priorities for Alberta. This part of fully funding the resource system in education becomes very important. What we're talking about here is a new and fair deal for students and the future of Alberta and citizens. Alberta is the only province in Canada to have the single rate of income tax, and in fact, as previously mentioned, is only one of a handful of places in North America. Fairness means that those who can't afford to make bigger contributions to core public services will benefit all society, should do so. In only 24 days, under the proposal that's being presented here today, we would have raised enough money and revenue to completely wipe out and meet all the class size targets that were essentially proposed 10 years ago. Alberta could ensure that small class sizes and learning conditions for students can be met to support the learning needs of students. It's time that we do so. Thank you.